It is always good to be in the house of the Lord.
Amen.
It should be the natural habitat of any man, woman, or child who believes in unity, because we need unbelievable unity today. This is the glue that will keep the fabric of our societies together. But this morning, I am clothed with the important trust of bringing you greetings from the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia and the Cabinet of Ministers. But before I do, please permit me to recognize my colleague minister, the Honorable Frederick Stevenson, Ambassador Elizabeth Clark, who is the permanent representative to the OAS, and of course, our ambassador to the United States of America, Ambassador Julian Dubois, who is responsible for diaspora affairs. I see other distinguished ambassadors from CARICOM. A warm welcome to you. Leaders of this house of the Lord, other distinguished personalities of this august assembly, fellow St. Lucians, brothers and sisters. Whilst I listened to the sermon this morning, I showed Ambassador Clark that I noted with great interest Psalms 133:1, and I embrace it. But also, I want to use as a ready compass in which to set my course Ephesians 4:3, and I quote, "Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace," unquote. We have often heard the word unity, but very few of us have actually pondered what that means and the significance of unity. Unity stands at the very fundamental level for cooperation, which is the key to achieving harmony and fulfillment. When people are united, invariably they share a common goal and a common vision. And even when we are different, we utilize our differences to create strength and strong bonds of friendship. You look at a vehicle and you pop the engine. There are different parts in that engine, but they work together to ensure the mobility of that engine. And we must do the same for our society. Many times, we want to build resilience. We want to talk about sustainable development, and this is what we say that the world needs. And we need to deliver to the people that look up to us for compassion and honest purpose. And despite the best intentions of politicians and the deep commitment, sometimes we fall short of the target. Not because the policy was not good, not because there is not this dedication to the people that we serve, but it is because there is not that unity that should spur us into concrete action. If we want a resilient society, we want to be creative and innovative, we need to be united. And I would want to, of course, veer slightly off course to indicate exactly what I mean by that. Many times people say seeing is believing. And if they do not see something, they do not believe that it exists. That is being myopic. The very nature of being creative or being innovative, really a product of thought. God gave us 5 faculties of perception. He gave us the gift of sight, of smell, of taste, hearing, and to feel. How convenient to use one of them and say, I have not seen God, so I do not believe in God. And then there must be a separation between state and church. And then we emerge with all sorts of permutations and combinations that weaken the fabric of our society and make life more difficult for everybody. Everywhere I go, I proclaim my belief in the God that created me. The God that endowed me with the talents that I have, and I am mandated by conscience to utilize my talents for the glory of the Lord. And the late Dr. Miles Monroe once said, he's performing for an audience of one. And if you communicate with God via your conscience, you will get clear directives as to how to go about playing your part in uniting the people that you serve. And going back to seeing is believing. When I was 12 years of age, I listened to a pastor in Saint Lucia called Pastor Ben. And he asked the people before him, have you ever seen a toothache? And everybody was quiet. He said, how many people ever had a toothache? And people raised their hand. He said, have you ever seen it? No, but you felt it. And we need to feel much more today than ever before. There must be compassion for our neighbor, as you accentuated in the sermons this morning. And it is this compassion that drives the philosophy and body of principles of the Saint Lucia Labour Party that I belong to. And it was no surprise that the Honorable Prime Minister would pen those words in his message to the diaspora. We are passing through this world. We have a duty to elevate people. And when we are in government, we set in motion policies that will equalize opportunity and destroy privilege to ensure we give everybody an opportunity to succeed. This is what God gave you your talents for. Anytime you utilize a tool that God gave you as a weapon, when you least expect, He'll take it away from you. And what do I mean by a tool and a weapon? In the same way that a kitchen knife came about because you're in the kitchen and you have to cut fish and meat and everything else. That's a tool. But you can use that very knife to take a life, to stab somebody to death. The choice is yours. The world is in chaos because of interest. Not because we cannot come together, not because there is not a pressing need for us to organize ourselves into that integrated whole to bring about a better tomorrow for humanity. It is within our sphere of competence to do so. But the lack of unity. And when there is no unity, we are suspicious of each other. And it goes back to the separation between the state and the church. Any society without a soul will suffer from spiritual malnutrition, and you are not going to progress. You can have all the monies in the world, you are not going to succeed. And so today I address you in the spirit of unity, in the spirit of partnership. Let us continue to move forward together. That is the only way we are going to make progress. And like my Prime Minister, I want to take a quote from a former President of the United States of America, the late J.F. Kennedy, who said, "Those who have been left behind, I shall help catch up. Those who have been left out, I shall help bring in." And this is the mission my government has adopted. And my Prime Minister will continue to reach out to you, irrespective of your religious background, irrespective of your political allegiance. We are not too concerned about that because we cannot split development at its political seam. We must come together in the warm spirit of national unity. We are duty-bound to create a better world for future generations. I end by indicating to you in your moments of doubt and confusion, take your mental flight into the future, maybe 100 years from now, where all of us would have been in our mahogany silence, according to the late George Odlum. In 100 years from now, who will be around, walking the planet? Although, when I asked that question before, a few people put up their hands and they said they are going to be there. But let us utilize that moment in the future to act in the present. That everything that we do today is to ensure that we leave a better world for our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and for future generations. Like the Spanish would say, la lucha continua. Hasta la victoria siempre venceremos. The struggle continues. The struggle for us to continue to find solutions to the problems that tantalize us. May God bless us all. Thank you very much.